On this week's show, Scythe is going digital, Boom is going crystal, and Fantasy Faction is going novel. Hello and welcome to the Fantasy News Show from the Bottled Imp. My name is Ken Boyter and this is your week of fantasy goodness. First up, we have the Warlock of Firetop Mountain, app is coming to the iPhone and iPad. It's based on book one of the classic Warlock of Firetop Mountain. It's never normally that difficult to say, that one. I think I'm trying to speak too fast. The classic fighting fantasy Warlock of Firetop Mountain, which was a series of books. That was book one in a series of books where you choose the adventure. You would kind of set your character up. You could roll dice to see, you'd be fighting people and enemies and combat. And you would then choose which page you flick through, and you'd go to the certain page, because it might say if you want to go left, go to page 58. If you want to go right, go to page 92. If you want to attack that monster, etc, etc. So you would flick through the book back and forth. It was really, really cool to play. I absolutely loved them. Anyway, Tin Man Games they're going to be launching the app on the 22nd of February, and it's based on their 2016 PC version of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Now, I didn't know that they'd converted it. I don't know how it slipped through my knowledge. There you go. So in Warlock of Firetop Mountain, though, in this one, the actual translation, the way they've adapted it, it's actually, you'll be fighting monsters, you'll still be using weapons and magic, and eventually you'll be facing the Warlock, obviously, of the mountain. But this one is actually done, I don't know what you call it, an isometric view, and it's turn-based, so it's like an RPG, and so you'll be going along, and they've done little minis, so it is like you're playing a board game. It's that sort of feel to it, so it's not your usual. I guess it's a little bit like Talisman. If anyone's played Talisman for the PC, it's that kind of thing where you actually see, although the map is more, it's not like a board game, but the actual little figures, and you're going along, so it's kind of crossing over from a tabletop game into a PC. Well, in this case, it's an iPad and iPhone game. So it's single player though, and it's also, as I say, I don't know how I missed it last year, and I think it's about time we did do another Imp Plays. Yes, we have done where I go through and I play an actual game of Talisman. That was on, you can look at that now if you like. I think it's about 10 episodes, 20 minutes each. I think it's about time we did another one, and I used to love reading these fighting fantasy books where you choose your own adventures. So maybe, and I think we will do so, we will do a Warlock of Firetop Mountain, so check that out. As I say, this one though is coming out on the 22nd of February from the App Store. Scythe, the board game, is going digital. Stonemaier Games have announced that their massively successful worker placement exploration combat tabletop game will be getting a digital version. Scythe is set in an alternate history 1920s period, and it's a time of farming and war, broken hearts, rusted gears, innovation and valour. Now, Scythe, the digital edition, is being developed by the Knights of Unity, and the game features various things, some of which are online multiplayer, local multiplayer, and they've put hot seat. Not quite sure what hot seat means. I obviously don't play games enough. There's a versus AI mode, so you can obviously play against the AI characters, and also one-to-one projection of the board game rules designed by Jeremy Stegmaier. And it's got the atmosphere of the 1920s world and the artwork, which is amazing on the board game. That's also being translated through, and that is by Jakub Rosaski. And as of yet, there's no actual date for the release of it, but they are hoping to get one for the second quarter of this year. And you can see how the updates are coming along. They've been putting up various screenshots and various sort of images of the characters. And you can visit their Facebook page to find all that out, which is facebook.com/Scythe Digital Edition. So check that out. And obviously we'll put the link in the description of this episode. Boom Studios are creating Jim Henson's Dark Crystal Tales children book. Now, I'm very, very excited about this. Acclaimed writer and artist Cory Godbey has adapted the 1982 dark fantasy film Dark Crystal, which was directed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz. It's one of my favourite fantasy films, by the way. And the book is aimed for 8 to 11-year-olds. And I would say the film probably does cover that area. But if you're 12, 13, 14, you're still going to love the Dark Crystal film. But so they've obviously done it for a slightly younger audience, I would imagine. And it's a collection of short tales, and they're all set in the universe, in the land of the Dark Crystal, which I believe is pronounced Thar. Thar, Thra. Anyway, the artist has previously written and illustrated last year's best-selling Jim Henson's Labyrinth Tales. Now, again, this kind of whizzed past me. I didn't know they'd done that, so it'd be worth checking that one out as well. And of the book, Godbury says, "My goal is to create the 3 stories which reflect those ideas and honour the tone of Jim Henson's original groundbreaking film. These stories explore how a single act can ripple out outward, and how you can never know who it will touch or who it might help." And that is so true, so true. The release date of the book is the 1st of August, and you can find out more if you visit www.boom-studios.com. Fantasy Faction has announced their top 50 fantasy best books of 2016. Fantasy Faction, for those of you that don't know, is a website full of fantasy books. It's all about reviews and news and interviews, anything to do with fantasy books. And each year they publish their top 50 best fantasy books of the previous year. And they do state, though, that like any list, it's purely kind of it's subjective, it's their opinion. So obviously, you know, you may differ from what, you know, you would choose from what they've chosen. Anyway, the best fantasy novel, according to Fantasy Faction, of last year is Wraith by John Gwen. Now, I've not read that. There's probably a lot I haven't read on that book because there's so many good quality fantasy books being written now. You can look at the full list to see if you disagree or agree with them by visiting fantasy-faction.com. Bloomsbury is publishing a Harry Potter 20th anniversary edition. Yes, the first book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, is 20 years old. That is incredible to think that. And they're publishing new editions in June to celebrate that very fact. They're going to be releasing 4 versions of the book, each one aligned with one of the 4 Hogwarts houses, obviously Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Slytherin and Hufflepuff. And they do look really beautiful. They've been designed by Levi Pinfold, with the hardbacks being black, and they have the house crest on the front in the house colour, with striped sprayed edges on the actual pages. They do look really, really cool. And this edition will also have extra facts about Hogwarts, and there's 3 new illustrations by Pinfold as well. According to Bloomsbury, the 7 Harry Potter novels have now sold approximately, get this, 450 million copies worldwide. That's a crazy amount. They've been translated into 79 different languages. Wow, you're a wizard, Harry. Netflix have announced that they will be releasing a serialised adaptation of Castlevania. This is intriguing. It's based on the video game series. Now, I have played one of these games and was very impressed by it. I did like it. And the show will be 4 episodes. Each are 30 minutes long, and it's to be screened later this year. Like the games, the series will focus on the last surviving member of a disgraced Belmont clan, trying to save Eastern Europe, from extinction at the hand of Vlad Dracula himself. Ooh, vampires. Yes, speaking to IGN co-producer Andy Shankar, careful how you pronounce that, stated that the series would be an animated adaptation of Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, adding, "This is very much Castlevania done in the vein of Game of Thrones." So there we go, an animation done in the Game of Thrones. That is exciting, can't wait for that one. Kickstarter news, Shire Postmint is launching their next batch of Lord of the Rings coins. Each coin design is engraved by hand and are made from solid metals, and they are stamped at one at a time with an antique machine. It's really cool. You can, if you go onto the Kickstarter campaign, they've got a little video of how they're actually made, and it's really cool when they kind of stamp the little motifs on. There are 5 sets of coins from Middle-earth available to pledge for: Rivendell, Laketown, the Shire, Heleld, I don't know how you pronounce that, Harad, maybe that one, and the Red Hand of Saruman. In addition to the new sets, they are releasing 100 limited edition coins of the Gondor Crown in Mithril set. And it's the coronation of Aragon that's on that one. They do look amazing. They look really, really stunning. I'm a bit of a sucker for coins. And I did check out their website as well. They have other licenses as well. They've got The Hobbit, The Wheel of Time series of books. They've got the coins from there. The Kingkiller Chronicle as well. Conan the Barbarian, and the Demon Cycle. Wow, the Demon Cycle. We have done a review of that. I absolutely love the 3 books they've written so far. And yeah, just the fact that you can actually, if you really love those worlds, that you can go and have a piece of that world in your hand in coin form. To me, that's very exciting. Maybe not to everybody. Yes, you can see what the coins look like if you do go to their website, which is www.shirepost.com. Alternatively, obviously, you can go to the Kickstarter page as well. It's already funded and it finishes on the 2nd of March. Orc Quest, the card game, is a fast-paced card game that turns the tables on the dungeon crawl genre. Maze Games brings you a twist to the classic Hero Quest. The artwork, remember Hero Quest, the cover of that with the barbarian? They've done a twist on it. It's where the orcs are the heroes. So the artwork has got a big orc in the similar sort of pose as Hero Quest. By playing various cards such as Brawl, Trap, Treasure, Capture, Cheap Shot and Magic Stuff, you only have one goal, and that is to be the richest orc alive at the end of a raid. So the game will be available in French and English as well, and you get the various cards, plus there are health tokens and custom dice. This does look a really fun game. It looks like it's quick to learn and quick to play. The artwork does look lovely, it looks beautiful, and obviously they've got all the rules set out and various pictures so you can get an idea of how the game plays. And you can imagine there are various add-ons and stretch goals too. It is already funded and it finishes on the 27th of February. Relics issue number 1 is the next comic book in the series by Anthony Wolfe. Yes, despite it being number 1, there was one previously to that, and that was actually issue number 0. There you go. I think that was a bit of a trial run, and that was successfully funded on Kickstarter. The comic follows the story of 4 bounty hunters. They are Wulfstan, Vivian, Nod, and Theodore, and they're on a quest to retrieve the Demon's Eye, whatever that is, after a mysterious stranger tells them of the Demon's Eye legend. Number 1, apparently issue number 1 is bigger than issue number 2. I think they've doubled it. This time it's 24 full colour pages, and it's being officially launched at the Salt Lake Comic Con in March. The illustrations do look great on this. They're very full colour, very bold, very kind of striking, but there's quite a lot of detail in there as well. I do like detail in illustrations, and they have put quite a lot of the panels up there so you can see exactly what it looks like. And from that, it does look like there's a good dose of humour layered into this story as well. So that's always cool. It's nearly funded, and the campaign finishes on the 3rd of March. Bottled Imp news on this week's Friday Fancy Show. We have a bit of a special one here. This one is taking a look at Heavy Metal Magazine. Now, we did a review of the film and also Wizards, and those films were inspired by a magazine that was originally French that America didn't take over, but they launched their version and called it Heavy Metal. The original was called Screaming Metal, I believe. Anyway, so we're going to be looking at that. I was very kindly sent by a Bottled Imp viewer, Andy Craig. He sent me them. He had, I think he's got the first edition. I think that's what I was holding. A few of those magazines, plus a book that is by 2 pretty well-known fantasy artists as well. So that was very exciting for him to send that to me, because I then got a chance to see what they looked like. But that's all we have time for, fellow imps. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to watch the Friday show. It's going to be a good one. Remember to subscribe, share, like, and, well, just have a good time. Until next time, though, remember to keep it unreal, especially if you're a wizard, Harry.